So, hi. Um, what I'm going to talk about today are the 9 business models and how the offer that you're making is different based on which of the 9 business models you're choosing to follow with your business. Um, so yeah, it looks like that's live. Yes. Okay, nice. So here's here's the short answer is the reason that we have the fact that they're 9 and 9 just is happens to be coincidental. They're easy to chart on a graph, um, but they're not the two frameworks are not intended to be exact the same 9 by 3 by 3 grid. They just end up being the same 3 by 3 grid. Um, but what I'm going to talk about today is how when you have a particular niche and you have a particular service, then that shapes what offer you're making to your audience. And then the audience who is the people who hear you, who are your niche audience, they resonate, they understand that you're talking to them. And people who hear your message but aren't your niche, they can recognize immediately that it's just background noise. They ignore it and they continue to move on with their life. So that's I'm gonna check this audio really quick just to see if I can hear myself talk. Um, that's the reason why you should have a niche. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. And so I'm trying to do my own tech support here. All right. So the fact is we are all inundated by commercial messages, whether whether it's a business financial transaction or whether it's a political agenda driven policy conversation or whether it's a nonprofit trying to get your attention to either use their services or support their services. All of these people are sending us all of us messages every day, and it's very easy to just to have to tune all of it out. um if you're the one sending the message, then you want to make it easy for the right people to tune you, for everyone else to tune you out, but you want the right people to immediately know that you're talking to them. And that is why it is so important to have a niche audience where it's clear who you're talking to. And what we're talking about today is when you are talking to them and they realize you're talking to them, having an offer that matches their needs so they know that you have what you have is the solution to the problem they're facing. And that allows them to tune in, which does them the courtesy of tuning out everything else. And also that all the other people to whom that offer doesn't apply, it allows them to tune it out. Okay, so what I'm going to do today for format purposes is I'm going to use the posts that are on my YouTube channel as my visual aids. So I'm going to share screen, and there we go. Okay, so yep, looks like screen's coming up. Okay, I'm seeing myself in the upper corner, so I'm still on the screen. I'm gonna double check that I'm over here on Colab. Yep, I've got a screen live. Okay. Um, so what this post talks about is the fact that when you pick a niche, whether it's an industry or subcategory of an industry, sub-industry of of an industry, you're not excluding the opportunity to have to do business with all these other people, but you're focusing your messaging effort so that the person who you resonate most with, who resonates most with you, and who is most impacted by your service is the one who pays attention. There are hundreds of people that do what you do. And so if you're trying to compete with all of them for all of the business with anyone that you could come across with, um, all you do is make yourself sound like everyone else. So instead of trying to sound like everyone else, let's try to find a way to make you sound uniquely you. That's why a niche is important. Um, because you're trying to solve a particular problem for a particular kind of person, a particular group of people. Instead of being this broad generalist, I can do anything for anyone, which sounds like I'm just desperate to try to close some deals. When you start saying, this is what I do and who I do it for, that particular group of people now say, oh, you understand my needs. That's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the place where the audience that you're talking to knows that you're talking to them specifically. Double checking all this. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with, we're going to use the 9-point marketing plan as a way to make sure that we're on the same sheet of music about how this conversation goes. Um, okay. I'm not going to worry about that particular version of the feed. So when we're deciding who our niche audience is, we these are numbered sequentially 1 through 9 on purpose. And the next framework isn't numerically sequenced. They're just numbered for ease of reference. These ones are when you're planning your marketing plan of how you present to the audience. These are the things you need to think about in the order that you think about them, primarily because they're the order in which the action is taken. But, and I saw it again in the official Facebook group for HighLevel, a discussion today about someone who they have a very interesting, probably even compelling offer for a niche audience. They have correctly identified their offer and their audience, but they're still approaching the problem from their perspective. And this is one of my biggest messages that I'm trying to communicate to everyone that I talk to. All of us are self-centered. All of us see the world from our own perspective, or at least we see the world from our own perspective first. It's very hard by nature for most of us to see the world from the other person's perspective. And the point of these kinds of frameworks is to help us get out of that mindset. So this person understood their niche, and they were shot, and they had the offer for their niche. And the question they were asking was, well, why aren't my ads working? Well, first of all, there's a whole bunch of reasons why an ad campaign might not work. Depending on the targeting, the message might be exactly right, but it just might not be targeted to the either the broad enough or the narrow enough audience. In this case, they were running ads on. I'm going to actually because it's a perfect example. They were running ads on LinkedIn for the owners of auto repair shops. And maybe the managers of auto repair chains are on LinkedIn. I would argue that the solo business owner who's they're running the business, they're their own service writer, and they're turning wrenches, who his target market was. I submit they're not on LinkedIn. So I would argue that the reason his message. So in the framework we're looking at, the audience is probably right. The offer, there's a good chance he had the right offer, but the channel he had selected was LinkedIn, and I'm 90% sure that that's the reason his ads weren't working. You have to match all three. Thus, he had the right audience, he had the right offer, but he had the wrong channels. This is the before. This is the planning stage of the marketing plan. Then we plan all. That's why it's before. We plan all of these 9 elements before we execute, but then the stages, this portion, the before, the 3 before, are all literally the planning, and then we plan what we're going to do during execution, and then after the lead is captured and after conversion to a customer, what does that customer experience look like? So the reason I'm spending so much time in talking about this in context of the offer is when we talk about what is our business, most of us want to talk about what we do and how we do it. And our audience really doesn't care how we do it. They care about the results. They care about the experience. Item 7 on this chart. And so I'm going to get ready to go to the 9 business models and talk about the different kinds of offers that you might make if you're in each of these business models. And I'm spending so much time talking about the marketing plan because your niche isn't the business model. Your niche is who you're trying to help and how you help them. What offer are you making to them that's convincing them that you can solve their unique problem? So when I talk about what offer do you make, I'm going to talk always about who you're offering it to, because we're trying to see the world from our audience's perspective. So then these are the 9 business models. And I'm going to see if I can expand. Yes. Awesome. If it's all on the same screen. So the reason this 9 business model framework exists is because when HighLevel was initially launched, it was described as the platform for agencies by an agency, or by an agency for agencies. And it was targeted to marketing agencies who were doing done-for-you marketing services, and results were happening, and the customers were getting leads emailed to them, or the phone was ringing because of the activity of the marketing agency, but there was not attribution. And so HighLevel came along to improve reputation management and attribution of lead generation. But HighLevel's primary sales and marketing method for their own services was through their affiliate program. And so there became this dichotomy in people's minds. Am I talking as a marketing agency to my customers, or am I talking as a marketing agency to other marketing agencies because I'm an affiliate of HighLevel? And then there became this whole category of people who literally they were just focused on the affiliate model, encouraging people to sign up for HighLevel. As we moved down that path in the early 2020s, people started realizing that there was a lot of financial value in the transactions of the lead being the lead data being transmitted to the customer, and the conversations between the customer and the lead. And so SaaS mode grew out of that conversation, that it isn't just about the done for you marketing activities. It's also there's the mechanics of the transactions has financial costs, and there's some opportunity to turn those into profit centers as well. And so SaaS mode grew up. Meanwhile, the platform is so complex and getting more complex all the time that many, especially creative marketing agencies, couldn't figure out how to do all of those transactional activities, or it was so distracting from what they were trying to do that it became problematic. Took them off of the focus of their own marketing system, their own their own 9 points of a 9 point marketing plan. And so these support agencies, what I call business model 8, grew up out of that gap. When I came along and I watched the way people are talking, and then talking about these different done for you versus done with you, done versus do it yourself kinds of models, I was listening to the people who were talking about the difference between SaaS and SwaS. And SaaS is software as a service, and SwaS is software with a service. And the done software with a service, think of it as SaaS is do it yourself. SaaS is, as the agency, I provide you the software, or you subscribe directly to HighLevel, which is the affiliate model, but you have the software and I kind of support you. I help you, I guide you, I maybe provide some assets, either some templates or some workflows, and all bundled into a snapshot. SwaS is I provide you those assets and I also manage it on your behalf to a degree. And that's why that conversation was happening in the HighLevel official group, is where I came to the realization that we needed to spread this model out, so it wasn't just done for you, done with you, done for you, do it yourself, binary. It was more granular than that. And I worked through this model, and at one point I was at 15, I was approaching 18. There's reasons it's always in sets of 3, but that's another story for another day. The difference between SaaS and SwaS is what led me to realize that there's also a difference between marketing agency, who's still fairly hands off. They're doing marketing activities and they're tracking the data analytics. Are the leads flowing into the company? The marketing partner is more of a done with you model, and sometimes it's a do it yourself, but done with you model where the marketing agency is almost acting more like a virtual CMO, or like an outsourced marketing department. Going through that analysis, this what led me to, okay, there's 9 business models. So now, for the purpose of today's discussion, what I'm going to talk about is, and I'm going to go in reverse numerical order, because as soon as I start talking about 9, I'll say why I'm doing reverse order today. The point is, I'm going to talk about, in terms of that 9-point marketing plan, who the audience is, what the offer might be, and then the rest of it flows out of that, out of those two key decisions that we are making as the business owner, as the HighLevel agency, in whatever form that HighLevel agency takes. Here's the target audience for coders, app developers in the HighLevel space. HighLevel, as an amazing platform, has some gaps in how it does some of the things. And so there are people who have written apps that merge those gaps, that seal those gaps. And then also there's a lot of things that HighLevel, the platform, doesn't do. And so there are people who are writing apps that extend the reach of HighLevel and pull data out of other products into the HighLevel environment. Hi, Alex. Nice to see you, or nice, your name anyway. So the target audience for business model 9 are people who are using HighLevel. They are sometimes business model 0, the end user companies. They are most generally the HighLevel agencies. Sometimes they're leaning more toward the business model 8 high-level support agency. But the thing that a coder does that's different than business model 8, the support agency, is they're actually writing code instead of just doing no code development within high level, building out workflows and templates and snapshots and social media post assets and email assets. They're writing software operating code. I have never had a business model 9 client because I don't have the technical skills to be able to do code level work. But if you are a coder, there is this amazing thing, the high level ideas board. And these boards on the board or categories on the board are or products. They're the products that are in the high level platform. And here's 71 requests for things that someone wants high level to do that don't yet exist. Here's 82 requests for things for the AI employee to do that doesn't work the way people want it to. Here's 2,400 requests for the advertising reporting that people want it to do additional things. So if you're a coder, you could literally go on here and say, this is people asking for it to do things. Let me build an app to do that. And then because High Level has a Facebook group, you could literally go into a High Level Facebook group and there's a no self-promotion rule. So I'm not telling you to self-promote, but using the social media sniper technique that Devin Tracy teaches here in GHL Business Launch, you could use that social media with your app that you've written based off of the ideas board. You can go into the Facebook group, follow the social media sniper model so that you're not self-promotional in the group. And that could be the entirety of your 9-point marketing plan. I would love to have a conversation with somebody who has those skill sets and that interest, because I would love to show you how easy it would be to be a developer and turn that into a business. All right. So that is business model 9, app marketplace. Business model 8, the support agencies. So I have their white label or gray label. So white label mode, the support agency is literally acting on behalf of a business model 3, 4, 5, or 6 high level agency. And so when the agency has their client ask for a tech support question, that request is forwarded to the support agency, and the support agency responds as support at the high level agency. Not support at high level, that's a different thing, but support from the agency. Gray label would be, and so they always talk. So in my case, in Devin's case, we would talk about it as OmniHub. So if we had a white label support agency, that support agency would say, we are OmniHub's support agency. If they were a gray label, instead of saying OmniHub, they would say the platform or lead connector. They would use a non-descriptive term. If they were then black label or premium label, they would use their own brand. Hey, this is Bald Guy Marketing Support Services calling you on behalf of OmniHub to handle your ticket. And depending on how the agency wants to work, how the high level agency wants to work, any of those 3 would totally work. The offer you're making, because again, I said the point I was going to make today, focus the offer you're making is, I'm going to offload from the high level agency the tech support part, or maybe the content development part, services for the agency's clients. There's a couple really good things about this business model. And I'm going to talk about agencies, and then I'm going to talk about freelancers as a solo agency. Um, the great thing is in your 9-point marketing plan, item one, the agencies are pretty easy to find us. If we're a high level agency, most of us have at least one person hanging out in the high level Facebook group. Um, we have lots of stuff on our social media that indicates that we are high level agencies. And even if we don't have, even if we're a white label agency, um, it's very probable that if you were to use a software platform like builtwith.com, for example, and you were to go search for, if you were to search for, scrub the internet for marketing agencies, and you were going to take our websites and you're going to paste them into builtwith.com, you start seeing the indicators that we're actually using HighLevel on the backside. Okay, there you go. Now the problem here is every one of us who is a high level agency knows how easy it is for people to get a hold of us, just like what I described. So your target audience here, so here's the difference between in your business model, in your 9-point marketing plan. One is audience. Okay, I just said it's if you're in business model 9 or business model 8, it's easy to find, and the same with business model 7, it's easy to find your target audience because the agencies, there's indicators that we're high level users. The offer part becomes the challenge. If you're one of these white label or gray label business model 8 agencies, support agencies, you're competing with everybody else who is doing the exact same thing. And specifically, you're competing with high level pro tools, agency armory, and extendly. These handful of names have a lot of authority in the high level universe, and you can't you just saying I'm going to use a, so extendly has a snapshot they call literally capital UB, universal business snapshot. But if you have a lowercase universal business snapshot and say, hey, I got a universal business snapshot, unless you can't just, you're not going to get away with just selling it that way if you don't have authority in people's lives to give them advice yet. Because if you send me a cold email said, I have a universal business snapshot for you, I'm not, I haven't indicated to you that I'm ready to buy a universal business snapshot. As the agencies, we are getting inundated by, as I started this session with that thought. Every one of us as human beings is getting slammed with all these messages. As the agencies, we are hearing lots of people saying, I have this snapshot for you, I have that snapshot for you, I have the other thing for you. And even if we need that thing now, until we know who you are, you're just another voice saying the same thing that everyone else is pitching. So the point here of the 9-point marketing plan is, yes, you know who the audience is, but what offer? How are you going to position your offer so that it doesn't sound like just another snapshot? Again, I see it in the Facebook communities surrounding, so not just the official, because you can't pitch your own thing in HighLevel's official Facebook group, but I see it all over in the circles around high level. Hey, I got this thing for you. Well, what you just said is the exact same thing everyone else is saying. So the challenge here, and this is what I would love to help you with, is how do you differentiate your offer of this is what my snapshot does. Okay, if all you do is list all the things it does, you haven't communicated a compelling difference between that and every other snapshot that does the same set of things. All right, this conversation is a business model 7 model conversation. And again, it's easy to find people who would need this coaching, advising, mentoring kind of service. They're all the people that are in the high level world. You can find the high level agencies by scraping the internet. Um, there are a handful of big names. Ali Bloyd, so Patrick Allman, when I had my interview with him a couple months ago, this reminded me that Ali Bloyd and Billie Jean are effectively agencies who teach how to sell high level as a service. And so these are, so if you're trying to do something like what I'm doing right now, that's who you're competing with. You're competing with those big names of people who, Bridget Bartlett. It took me a second. I knew there was somebody else I wanted to name, somebody else's name I wanted to name drop. You're competing with them for the attention of the audience. That doesn't mean you can't win. It means you have to frame your offer in a way that says, this is what I'm teaching that's going to solve a particular problem for a particular subset of the audience, of people who are high-level agencies. Most in my observation, with the exception of a couple handful who do sales training, which happens to revolve around high level, most people who are in this space are doing the training part as a lead magnet to something else. Because if you're trying to sell coaching as the product, you're competing with a pretty large, with some pretty big names, with some pretty strong track records. However, so a perfect example is Michael Pacheco. So Mike's Agency Unlimited training community and training is focused on a particular thing. So he's separated from he's differentiated himself from those other agencies by saying, I teach, if you are managing the product for a business model 3, 4, 5, or 6, or a business model 8 agency, documentation of your snapshot is essential for scalability. Unless you're going to do every single account as a one-off individual thing, and you're going to, every time you open that thing up, you're going to start from scratch and try to figure out what you built the last time you were inside that agency's system. Sorry, that client, that account, the system for that client. You need to document very clearly how that particular system inside that account works. Thus, his offer is different from those larger sales training agencies. He's teaching and coaching on a very particular skill set. And I said I was going to talk specifically to the freelancers. If you were to walk into a business model 8 kind of conversation, whether it's, hey, you're a support agency. I understand you're a support agency. I see who you talk to and how you talk to them. There's some services that you would need. If you're bringing in, I can come in and I can go use Mike's system to document all your existing processes. That might be the thing the person needs. Or if you were to go to a high-level agency, model 3, 4, 5, or 6, and say, I'm certified by Mike Pacheco to document and troubleshoot and refine all of your current systems that you're built out for each of your clients, that would be a way to differentiate yourself from all of the other freelancers who are sending mass messages to all of the 3, 4, 5, 6 more high-level agencies and saying, this is what I do. And a couple times when I get those messages, it'll be, I do this, So sometimes it'll be somebody who says, I focus on the website and email creative stuff. Cool. At least you focus, you realize where your specialty is. Other people will say, I focus on automations, or focus on landing page funnel building. Okay, cool. You've gotten a subset of the skill set that you specialize in, but you still haven't given the person like me who's running a business model 3, 4, 5, or 6 high-level agency a compelling reason how you're different than the other 6 or 8 or 10 people who sent them that exact same message this month. If you come in with Mike certification in your hip pocket and say, I can help you look at all of the systems, all of the accounts you currently have, and help you refine and document and clarify how that system works for that particular client. That would be a really interesting, different approach. Okay. For purpose of this conversation, I'm going to lump 3, 4, 5, and 6 together in terms of what a high-level agency does. Their audience is what I call business model 0 are the clients. They're the end users of the agents of the service. So they are the plumbers, the lawn care companies, the mom and pop storefronts, restaurants. If it's a business, there's somebody in business model 3, 4, 5, and 6 serving somebody in that industry. They're the nonprofits, and whether it's a faith-based kind of once a week trying to be non-sectarian, a gathering of believers to worship together, and they are supported by donations, or whether it's a community outreach kind of group that I'm connected with, one that does outdoor adventures for teenagers here in the Pacific Northwest. But they're funded by a combination of grants and donors. They are the business model 0 end users. Business model 3, 4, 5, and 6 are using HighLevel on behalf of that client to help the client do communications with their customer base, their prospects, their donors, their contacts, their leads, their customers. In a way, the 3, 4, 5, 6 is the differentiation of the offer. The offer for a marketing agency is, this is a done-for-you service. I'm going to do all of these things. It's going to get you this result. The fact that the agency is using HighLevel on the backside is sometimes not even relevant to the customer. Other times the customer knows that they're using HighLevel, or they're using the platform with capital T, capital P, or they know that the agency is using the agency's particular white label brand of it, but the customer that in business model 0 doesn't actually log into their account. They don't even look at the Lead Connector mobile app, or the agency's white label version of the mobile app. Business model 5, on the other hand, is I deliberately put DIY. It could be a DIY model in a particular case where the client is actually in the software on a day-to-day basis, doing all their own support on all their own communications, and the agency is largely just doing strategic guidance and tech support, or maybe they're outsourcing to a business model 8 agency to do the tech support. Usually, when I say the marketing department, usually that'd be more of a done with you kind of model where the agency is acting as a fractional chief marketing officer, CMO, and they're doing marketing like a marketing agency, but how they interact with the sales staff is integrate. So there's direct conversation between the high-level agency and the um, the team in the client company. There's the difference in the offer is, and this is why this conversation today is relevant. The marketing agency says we're going to do these things, and these are the results that we either expect you to get or that we guarantee that you're going to get. The marketing partner says, I'm going to do those same things, and my role in your organization is to get you the result. A very compellingly different offer, and that was part of the frame, that was part of the realization that I came to when I realized it had to be 9 different business models. These two and SaaS and SwaS had to be separated to see the differences between them. At one point, I had even more granular. I had in these 5 and 6, I had like 6 different ones just within these two. So each of the two was really 3, is really 2 more. But at some point, it became artificially the boundary lines. And so it became realistically, the difference between marketing partner and marketing agency is the audience is the same. It's the end user company who doesn't have the capacity to do their own marketing. The offer, so there's the audience segment, part 1 of the 9-point marketing plan. Part 2, the offer is, now, as I'm deciding how I want to provide my services, do I want to do entirely done for you? I do all kinds of marketing things and you're on your own with the results, or do I want to be integrated? And both of them are totally valid approaches. And that's why it's important for you to have the conversation. And if you want to have the conversation with me, I'd love to have that conversation about how you decide which you want to be. SaaS and SwaS, I said earlier today that the differentiation between SaaS and SwaS is how I came to the realization that I needed to, it wasn't just done for you, done with you, and sell GHL, i.e. the affiliate. It was this other, the conversation between SaaS and SwaS is what led me to start building out this 9 business model framework in the first place. Again, the target audience is the end user company. But the difference between these two and 5 and 6 is in these two, the client company has some capacity to do some things themselves. They want to actually be in their lead connector app or their high-level mobile app responding to messages from their clients, or they must, because it's so personalized, the service is so personalized that as the agency, you couldn't represent them well in that conversation. Is one way that it might play out. So the point is that when you are deciding, do I want to be a software with a service? So this blend between marketing partner and SaaS, the fundamental difference between 3, 4, and 5 and 6 is in 3 and 4, the client company logs into this, not just uses the mobile app to talk with their clients on a regular basis, but they're regularly logging into the desktop version of the app and doing all of the things in the background in the settings, changing out their workflows, rebuilding things, restructuring how they use it, where in 5 and 6, they're arm's reach from the software itself. In SaaS, they're neck deep in the software. And some of your clients there are some clients that's what they want. They want to know exactly how everything works behind the scenes. If someone were to make a business model 6 kind of offer to that person, it would not be a compelling offer, because that person is going to say, you're going to just do marketing stuff for me and you're not going to tell me how it works. That is very unsettling to certain personality types. On the other hand, someone come along and say, hey, I'm gonna give you this marketing strategy. I'm going to help you build marketing assets, but here's the software, and you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and the client, the prospect says, "This is what I've been waiting for." It was effectively the exact same pitch, this Model 6 framework, made the offer, and it wasn't compelling. The next person came along with a Business Model 3 framework, and it was exactly what that person needed. How I help you figure out if you're going to have a range of these approaches, then figuring out which, when you're having a conversation with someone, figuring out which one is the right one of these four is really a challenge. Or if you say, I'm a creative, I'm really good at copywriting, email development, web development, I'm going to focus on the marketing activity side. I can do social media management like the traditional way we would have done it 3 or 5 years ago. I mean, ancient history. Um, that sets, because that's the offer you're making, that defines who your audience is to a degree. Um, if on the other hand, you want this purely hands-off SaaS kind of model, which there are a lot of people in the high level universe who that's when they hear SaaS, that's what they want, that's what they're imagining. They're imagining the client's going to subscribe to my SaaS and I'm going to provide them tech support and they're going to just run with it. Well, the reason you're going to get churn if you're running a SaaS model is you're going to get these people to subscribe to the software that does all these things for them, and then they're going to realize how much work it is to build it out, customize it, and then continue to adapt and edit it over time. And they're going to say, I need an agency to just do this for me. Well, you've made the wrong offer. And if that's the kind of agency you want that's to be, that's totally valid. That's the reason it's one of the models on the chart. But you've now made the offer to the wrong audience, and the churn is the natural result. Okay. The two affiliate models. In the end, all of the other 7 business models are about you providing a service to someone. Business models 1 and 2 are about HighLevel, the corporation providing the service to someone. And you are just the sales force. Often when people say, how do I sell GHL? There's confusion in the person like me who's trying to help answer the question, because some people say that and they mean, how do I sell a SaaS or SwaS? And some people mean, as an affiliate, how do I get people to subscribe to HighLevel? So the first question I have to ask is, well, are you intending, if you're going to sell GHL, are you intending to be an affiliate of HighLevel and just promote HighLevel, the software? Or are you going to have your own branded SaaS or SwaS, and you're marketing your software that happens to be built on your customized version of the software that happens to be built on the HighLevel platform? If you're in the first camp, if you're the affiliate, business model 1, the pure affiliate, literally is saying, I'm talking to my audience. I have whatever topic I talk to them about. So in this case, and here's my sales pitch. If this is helpful to you, I have 2 ways that you can get financially reward me. You can subscribe to HighLevel or Termageddon or Be Visible Online Solutions or Pacheco's support snapshot training, or Alfonso's spam to inbox training on the email side through one of my links, and that's me acting as an affiliate, and that's awesome. Or you can join the paid portion of our program, GHL Business Launch, on code GHL-business-launch-2 on the CoLab platform, and I get financially rewarded if you go through instead of going through the organic link, if you go through the paid link. So you can ask me for the paid link and I'll send you that, and you can pay me $9 a month. No big deal. Because as a pure affiliate, all I do is I talk about these tools, and if it's valuable to people, people sign up for the tools. And if they sign up through someone else's link or directly with the platform, all well and good. If they sign up through my link, I get a small little bit of money. The value added affiliate, the difference is, Josh Sanderford says, a product plus some valuable bonus equals a no-brainer offer. So if the product is Termageddon, or the top product is, in this case, HighLevel, and in Josh's case, he says, here are all my free gray label videos in the library. This is a valuable, if you have HighLevel, this is a valuable asset. There's a compelling reason to use Josh's affiliate link instead of mine. Because he's going to give you access to not just the free set of videos, he's going to give you access to the entire library. The point is, in both of these cases, you don't have technical support services requirements. Once someone has signed up directly with HighLevel Inc. through your affiliate link, technically your obligations to serve them have ended. Now, if you're an ethical, moral person, you will probably try to make sure that that person succeeds using that software. So in my case, I provide direct support. And hey, contact me. We'll get on a call. We'll schedule, and we'll work through whatever issues you're having. In Josh's case, as the example, here's the library of video training that you have signed up with him. Then you now get to turn around and use that to help provide technical support to your clients who use HighLevel. Okay, so the point is, when you're building understanding which of these 9 businesses you want to be in based on your technical skills, based on your creative skills, based on your customer service relationship personality, frames how you develop your 9-point marketing plan. And so I will go back to that page for visual reference. Once you know which business you're in, then identifying your niche audience who will be served by the product you provide for that business through that business that is one of those 9 business models, or some variation borderline between two. So the border between 4 and 5 is very gray. The border between 3 and 6 is more distinct, but it's like they can be like an upsell downsell offers on the same product ladder, on the same value ladder. Once you have that framework, then you come over here and say, who is my niche audience? And whether it's a product based, I'm looking for people who need a fantastic reputation management system, or I need people who are looking for a virtual receptionist, an AI-powered receptionist. Okay, who has that? Who needs that? If you're product-based like that, then how do you communicate a message to an audience that allows them to realize that they're the ones that need your product? If you're audience-based, then if you're niche industry-based, then you go to that niche and say, what are the problems that niche has? Can I solve some of those problems in that niche? Okay, now in both cases, now I write an offer that is compelling to that specific problem set and allows people to ignore your message if they don't have that problem. Once you've identified who your audience is and what offer you're going to make to them, now the question is, where are those people listening? That's how you pick your channels. You pick your channels based on what offer am I going to communicate. and who am I communicating it to? Once they engage with that offer, that's how when you collect their contact information, you follow up with them because the riches are in the niches, but the fortune is in the follow-up until they're ready to make a buying decision. Once they're ready to make a buying decision, then you have a sales process. That sales process results in a conversion, which now means this customer journey has gone from an interested person to a customer. What is the rest of their experience with you like, which leads to that lifetime value and results in them giving you referrals to their friends and family who have that same problem or similar problems that you can help with. I'm Keith Bashirs. I'm the bald guy. And in GHL Business Launch, we help high-level agencies and freelancers formulate what their unique approach to using HighLevel as a business, as an asset in their business, and develop the 9-point marketing plan for implementing that business model. Thank you very much. I am right on time. That was very interesting from a time perspective. I'm going to stop share and say, I have not had all of my channels open, so someone might have commented. Oh, I do have, oh, I see Matt Frey who was responding on YouTube, and I hopefully he's still around so that he could see that I did respond now.